Okay, this is another follow-up video on my pool. My second video this summer. This is September 4th, going on the tail end of the summer. Pool's still up. That was my goal, is to try to get one more year out of this liner. And all of the stuff that happened to me last year, that's on the previous video. So I won't go into all that now. Let me go up to the pool before I shut the filter off, just so you can see the water, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. You can see the pump, and you can see the clarity of the water. And of course, I do need to vacuum. I've vacuumed in about a week now, but you can see right there. Now let me go back and turn the pump off. So I'm going to go right there. That way the sound won't drown me out when I get up here. Okay, let me go. The sun is behind me, so let me go over to about right here. Okay, you can see the water, the clarity of the water. That should tell you all you need to know right there about how good the chemistry of this pool is. And I'm going to talk about what I do to keep it this way. I've been running the pool for 10 years, and I went through all kind of different things along the way. Seems like I was always trying to play catch up with the pool. Pool was always getting away from me quicker than I could keep the water the way I wanted. Okay, after all these years, what I've determined was, or what works the best for me, is I need one chemical and one chemical only, and that's chlorine. I've had a garage full of different chemicals that I've tried to put a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then come to find out all I need is the chlorine. Now this is just for my area. I live in California. Based on the chemistry of the water, the condition of the tap water in this area, this is what works for me. Now you can see right there, I have two floaters in there. They each have two 3-inch tablets of chlorine. That's all I need to maintain the whole summer. I started out with just one floater, and it wasn't enough, because every few days I would still have to come out and add chlorine. Now I'm not having to do that with two of them. Once I get to the level where I want it, then those two floaters with two chlorine tablets, as long as I don't let them go empty, will maintain the balance. Now this situation I'm using, is right at the upper level of chlorine. I keep the levels high. You know, I rinse whenever I get out of the pool anyway to get the chlorine off me, which is a good practice to do. But to keep the water, again, looking like that, I do keep the chlorine levels high. For this area, algae is the big one. It's the one that will do everything. It will turn the water green. If you let the chlorine get too low and you don't maintain it, the water will go green on you, without a doubt. In fact, I've already lost the pool one time this year because I let my chlorine floaters go empty for 2 or 3 days before I remembered to go put them back up. By that time, it was kind of too late. I was already, it had become to the point right there of the chlorine was growing faster than I could kill it, so I was playing catch up from that point on. And the water got, I wouldn't say super bad, but it got way worse than I wanted to. So bad that people were swimming in the pool and commenting on how bad the water looked. So to get it back to the way it is now, I had to super shock it. I use a 1 pound bag of powdered shock. It says on the label that 1 pound treats 10,000 gallons. That's complete bullshit. At least it has been for me. This pool is 7,000 gallons, and one pouch doesn't cut it. I need at least 2. When I first filled this pool up at the beginning of the year, the water already has a little bit of algae in it, because if you look at it now, it looks different than when I first fill it up. When I first fill it up, it has a slight tinge of green to it. Not a whole lot, you know, not to the point where you go, oh, that looks like shit. But compared to the way it is now, you can tell it does have a slight green tint to it. So to get it to look like this, you know, I have to shock it right from the very beginning. I have to put at least a couple bags of shock in it to get it this color. And then I use the floaters to maintain that color. Now, I got this tip from watching videos online from a guy, Ted, forgot his name now, on Pool Pros. Guy's pretty good. And he said something that really stuck to me one time, is when you start to lose, when the algae starts to overpower the pool, when it starts to get to the point where you can't stop its growth, you can take a pound of shock, and you can put one in the pool every day for 7 days, and it won't even change the pool. And it's because at that point, the chlorine, the algae is growing faster than that 1 pound of shock per day can kill it. So what you need to do, instead of putting 1 pound per day for 7 days, you need to take all 7 pounds and put them in there all at one time. So you do a massive dose of chlorine. Then you go back to your pool pump and you run that sucker 24 hours a day. And you do it for at least 4 days, 4 or 5 days. This is if you kind of lost the pool and it's gone way more green than you want, and you can't seem to get it back. And this works after 4 days, running your pump 24 hours a day. And of course, every day that you have to backwash this thing to remove the algae that sand's collecting. And then eventually your pool will look like this. And you'll see how clear the water is. Not only is it blue, actually it's not blue, it's just clear, reflecting the color of the pool, but at least it's not tinged green. You don't need clarifiers to clear your water up. You know, you don't need algicides. The chlorine will do all of that. When the chlorine kills the algae drops to the bottom. You have to vacuum it up, and you have to keep it vacuumed, and the water will clear itself out. And it takes a little while to do that. Now, the other most important thing besides chlorine is the length of time you're running your pool pump. I run my pool pump, and this is a 16-inch pool pump. I run this 12 hours a day, minimum. Anything less than that won't do it, won't keep this pool up. If I try to go less than that, and believe me, I've tried 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. Finally, 12 hours is the one that I got the best results with. 14 hours, 16 hours is good. Some people go 24/7. I had no problem with that. You can't overdo it, but you can sure underdo it. Plus, one of the most important things about filtering is keeping the water moving. It just has to do with, you know, you don't want your water going stagnant on you. That's when that algae is going to grab hold. So I vacuum, you know, once a week. And to tell the truth, I don't even, let me back up here a second. I don't even use a blade on the end of the hose. I just use the hose. I get in there with my snorkel and my diving mask and hook my pump to one of the inlets, and I just start using the end of the hose, and I go around the pool. It takes me about an hour. I go through the filter. In other words, I vacuum through the filter. Then when I get done, I go out in a backwash to clean flush all the algae out of the sand, and then I go back to filtering. You can go straight, instead of going through the filter, you can go straight to waste. In other words, what you're vacuuming is going out the backwash hose, and it's not even going through the sand. It's just going straight out the pool, out to the backyard. So you can go waste also if you want to vacuum that way. But if you spend an hour in there, you're going to lose a good 6 inches of water, maybe even more than that. If you don't mind having to spend the rest of the day refilling the pool each time you do that, go ahead. But I found that just going vacuuming through the filter is good enough. So that's it. That's just a simplified version to keep the water. All you got to do is look at the water. There's my proof right there. I'm not talking any bullshit. I don't profess to be a professional pool guy by any means, but what I can say is I've been doing this for 10 years. So that, to me, that makes my word mean something, because I'm just telling you from experience. And again, there's my experience right there. There's the pool, dude. There's the water. Chlorine. Chlorine, long filtering times. That's all it takes. Till next time, see ya.